The afternoon light spilled through the tall glass windows of the Aurelia Hotel, catching on chandeliers that dripped with crystal like frozen stars. Every corner whispered wealth, from the marble floors that gleamed like mirrors to the soft murmur of guests who spoke in money rather than words. But among them, invisible and unnoticed, stood Norah, a shy young waitress whose world was 1,000 miles away from the one she served. For 2 weeks she had carried trays heavier than her dreams, bowing politely to people who never saw her face. To them, she was just another uniform, a shadow in their perfect world. Yet on that quiet afternoon, fate decided that even the smallest voice, spoken in silence, could shake the walls of gold. Norah had no idea that a simple gesture, one born not of training, but of love, would soon melt the heart of a billionaire, touch millions, and rewrite her destiny. Her story wasn't about money or status. It was about a language deeper than words, about kindness that asks for nothing in return, and about the invisible bridges that connect souls when speech fails. If you've ever believed that compassion still exists in a world obsessed with wealth, this story will remind you why. Norah's life had always been quiet, not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the kind that grows from struggle. Her father had left when she was 12, leaving behind bills and broken promises. Her mother worked double shifts at a laundry to keep the lights on, while Norah cared for her younger brother, Eli, who was born deaf. Eli was her heart. Every evening after school, she would sit beside him and practice sign language, learning to speak in silence so he would never feel alone. Those small moments, hands moving gently under the dim light, became their secret world, one where love needed no sound. But the world outside didn't speak that language. After Eli passed away 2 years ago from a long illness, silence became painful again. Norah stopped signing, stopped smiling, and learned to live quietly, until she found work at the Aurelia Hotel, a palace for the rich and untouchable. That day, she was assigned to Table 9, a private corner reserved for billionaire Adrian Cole and his mother, Margaret Cole. Adrian was a man of numbers and precision, known for building an empire before he turned 35. He was also known for his coldness, a businessman carved from ice. The staff whispered about him constantly: "Don't make mistakes. Don't talk too much. Don't look him in the eye." Norah's hands trembled as she carried the water tray toward their table. But as she placed the glasses down, she noticed something. Margaret Cole wasn't responding to her spoken words. The woman smiled politely, nodding at random moments, her fingers brushing the small hearing aid tucked behind her eye. In that instant, Norah's heart caught. She recognized the subtle movements, the way Adrian leaned closer to help his mother follow the conversation. It was a familiar rhythm, the same one she had shared with Eli. Without thinking, Norah took a deep breath and gently raised her hands. Her fingers began to sign. "Would you like still or sparkling water?" For a moment, the entire dining hall seemed to fall silent. Margaret's eyes widened, her lips parting as if she couldn't believe what she saw. Then, slowly, tears welled up. Her hands trembled as she signed back. "You know sign language?" Norah nodded, smiling softly. The billionaire's mother broke into a joyful laugh, one that turned heads across the room. For years, she had endured polite pity, people pretending to understand, waiters avoiding eye contact, conversations spoken over her. But this time, someone had reached across the wall of silence and spoken her language. Adrian looked up from his phone, his expression unreadable. He wasn't used to emotion in public, especially from his mother. Yet, as he watched Norah signing effortlessly, saw his mother's face light up with real happiness, something inside him shifted, a quiet crack in his perfectly composed world. The rest of the lunch unfolded like magic. Norah didn't just serve food, she connected. She signed every menu item, laughed with Margaret, even taught her a few playful signs for dessert. For the first time in years, the billionaire's mother felt seen, and so did Norah. Behind her calm smile, memories of Eli flooded back. Every gesture carried his shadow. Every laugh from Margaret echoed the soundless giggles of her little brother. Her eyes shimmered, but she never stopped smiling. In serving kindness to another, she had unknowingly healed a piece of herself. When the meal ended, Margaret insisted on meeting her personally. She took Norah's hands in hers, tears glistening under the chandelier's golden glow, and signed, "You made me feel seen. You reminded me that I'm not alone." Norah's lips trembled as she signed back. "You reminded me that love never disappears." The quiet beauty of that moment wrapped the room in reverence. Even the waiter standing nearby felt it. The kind of emotion that doesn't need sound to be understood. After they left, Norah thought it was over. But later that evening, the hotel manager told her that Mr. Adrian Cole wanted to see her in his office. Fear surged through her. Maybe I overstepped, she thought. Maybe I'll be fired for being unprofessional. When she entered, Adrian wasn't the cold figure from earlier. His voice was softer now, uncertain. He thanked her for what she had done for his mother. He explained how, for years, Margaret had withdrawn from social life because of her hearing loss, how no one ever tried to speak to her on her terms. Then, he asked about Norah's life. When she mentioned Eli, his expression changed. The story of her brother, her struggle, and her quiet determination seemed to pierce through the layers of armor he had built around his heart. A few days later, the hotel made an unexpected announcement. All staff members would receive free sign language training, sponsored by Adrian Cole, in memory of Eli Velen. Norah hadn't asked for anything, yet her act of kindness had sparked a movement. Adrian went further. He arranged a full scholarship for Norah to study special education, telling her the world needed people like her, people who could bridge silence with compassion. Word of the encounter spread quickly. Guests who had witnessed it shared the story online. Within days, it became a viral symbol of empathy, a reminder that kindness costs nothing but can change everything. From that day forward, Margaret often visited the Aurelia Hotel, always requesting Norah's table. Their friendship blossomed, two women connected by grief, hope, and the language of hands. For them, silence was no longer empty, it was sacred. Weeks later, during a quiet afternoon break, Norah stood by the window watching the sunlight melt across the city skyline. She thought of Eli, his small hands, his laugh, the way he tugged on her sleeve to get her attention. She closed her eyes and whispered a silent thank you. Life hadn't given her wealth or comfort, but it had given her something rarer, the power to make someone feel less alone. And that, she realized, was the truest form of richness. Yellowheart true kindness doesn't need sound, words, or wealth. It only needs a heart willing to see others as human. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner, because the world needs more stories where love speaks.